All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Rakugo,
Rakugo, Season 1, Episode 5.
5.
Okay.
All right.
So we've got Miyokichi into the mix here.
Yep.
She has made her move towards Yakumo.
Yes, indeed.
And
with
it's
interesting
going to
results.
cause some complications.
Yeah.
Not only did we get that kind of foreshadowing previously about how she would kind of throw a wrench into things, but specifically that she is the mistress of their
teacher,
their teacher. Yeah. And not only that, it's kind of a thing where he's being a bit cavalier about it, and he's not really like, you know.
So this it'll be interesting to see how this goes, because so far Yakumo and Sukeroku have been absolutely inseparable. So what will if this character, for the most part, and if this character's involved in a wedge being driven between them, okay, but what exactly will that look like?
Yeah, there's a lot of weird love triangle shenanigan things I could see going on, but there's the other part of where Yakumo is a bit fragile of a person as well, with regards to his own fortitude. I would say, not in a physical sense, but just his persona, if you will, just based on what I've seen thus far. And also Sukeroku seems to be a bit
rambunctious,
a bit frivolous, and a bit rambunctious. Yeah, he's a bit
cavalier.
Yeah, cavalier. Another great use for that word here. He has his other stuff that he goes to do, which is now starting to draw a little bit of my suspicion, just given that it's a lot of time where we don't see what he's doing, and there's no reason to be suspicious of it in the immediate sense. But when I think about them eventually coming to some kind of, issues that leads to Sukeroku's death, and the fact that Konatsu blames Yakumo for it, things are
they're gonna get even more dicey.
A little bit dicey. Yeah, I agree. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, be sure to check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. All right.
This is a really sweet episode.
This is a very wholesome,
and wonderful, and happy, and
good. Just good.
And why does this make me so worried? Because I feel like this is just set up for when everything is not happy and it's not cheerful.
The big thing that set up potential worry is the fact that Miyokichi brings Yakumo back to her place, which apparently is a little bit of a a taboo. Yeah. Because in some ways it's breaching the boundary between the professional and the personal, I think.
Right.
And she gives I'm so glad to have the manager on my side. And then she realizes, wait, that's the 7th generation. Yeah, his apprentice. Don't tell him his wife, okay? And she's like, a moment. Let's go talk where he can't hear us. And the whole thing of, why are you keeping a secret? You're still in training. The kind of thing of, you're in over your head.
Yeah.
And then she says, if they find you bringing customers to your house. This is the part I'm not sure about. Who is the they in this?
Right, because if she's the manager... then is she maybe like the low level or mid level management, basically? And
like her coach, essentially.
Yeah, and then there's other people that would be like,
this is my worry here, just a little bit. I feel like things are gonna go a little bit more into the gang territory, because I'm trying to think of who would actually kill Sukeroku. There's no one in this story so far that I could see being brought to actually murder him.
Yeah.
So it's either an accident.
Right.
But then that doesn't make sense why Konatsu would blame Yakumo. And I don't think it's suicide, because Sukeroku is the kind of person where it's if he's suffering inside, he's going to maybe fall on Yakumo to help him and stuff like that.
Along with maybe some of his vices, but
But if it's something where, let's imagine, say, the geisha group is owned by a specific group.
Basically the pimp people up top or whatever.
And they don't want free services being given out to.
Now, is she specifically geisha, or is she just a prostitute?
Well, there's a slight difference. I
right,
would assume, but I would say that she is a geisha.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure though.
Gotcha. Because they went to a place with geisha dancing, when we were introduced to her,
right?
But
that was the theater, the really nice,
right? But she was
theater,
just there as the mistress of the master. That was then also there with Yakumo per the master's request.
Right, and this is why it's okay with Yakumo that they're doing this, is because this is more of a companion that he can kind of open up to and be close to, even though there's nothing sexual or
or at least they haven't gone that far yet, even though they do have fun with their macking out and stuff.
Macking out.
Although I doubt that Yakumo would ever call it that.
She is kind of giving him a little bit of the I'm giving you what you want to hear kind of thing, which is that's part of maybe her training and what have you.
Right, she's trying to cheer him up and
but I loved that she ended up in a situation where she could actually help in a functional way.
Yep.
And she gets so excited about it. All the other times she's got this kind of flirty kind of thing going on, and she doesn't necessarily seem excited. She seems more like, hey, yeah. And I think that's something I would assume the best about her. But when she sees like, oh, I could do your makeup, she's like, oh, she's like, good I got at that.
It. Yeah,
yes, please let me.
Because before it's like I feel like she's kind of doing the thing of I realize what kind of guy he is, so I'm going to be the one that's doing the the flirting and the initiation and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right, because he's not going to. But then it's like, ooh, wait, no, here's something else. Yeah,
and she's even doing all the little cute things to convince him.
Okay, there's not much difference between an actor and a geisha.
Yeah, she is a geisha. Yeah.
I suppose that could be.
I have all the tools of the trade, and face paint, lipstick. You can have it all.
Yep.
And I love that the moment where she can't. I'm assuming Yakumo can't hear any of this, but when.
Well, I think he could.
Well, okay, maybe
that's why they showed the crack in the door.
But we're not. I don't say that's definite. Though, okay. Still, is that she says he isn't like that. Like he isn't that kind of situation there. Which means, in some ways, I trust her a lot more now than I did before.
Oh yeah, and then
which is awesome.
But then after that, Yakumo's like, I shouldn't have told her. So he probably was hearing that.
Yeah, but again, then I still don't see the point of them going to another room.
Well, she probably didn't want him to hear, but
or
again, the manager didn't want him to hear.
Again, if the manager didn't want him to hear, I don't see why they would have that even be a part in the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still think he did, but we can see if that ends up becoming a plot point
later. Yeah. So they have their theater performance. And it's like,
that kid
okay,
with the ridiculous hair.
It's a bunch of Rakugo performers and such, and then other, what are they called, Zenzu?
And those are the lower ranks in the Rakugo,
kind of area of things,
what they used to be at.
And we get to see Miyokichi without all her makeup on and stuff.
Yep.
And she looks so sweet. She looks so kind and stuff here, just being like so excited about
Yep.
Dudding him up and stuff, and she literally looks like she's like, yeah, you're so beautiful like this, and then of course Sukeroku is of course just a a typical brother mocking his
exactly
his but the way she defends him, like, hey come on, like he looks amazing. And but then it's more of a thing of where he's like, no, this is gonna be amazing. He's laughing, I would say, more so because he's like, oh my god, I don't even recognize you. Like,
I want to remember this.
Like, you look amazing here. Well, and Sukeroku does an amazing job of encouraging him, just being like, you've got this.
And I love their old married couple kind of banter, like, behind the stage and after.
I'm leaving. And he's like, wait. Yeah. And then give him that fox face of yours, and he's like, I don't have a fox face.
Yeah.
Whatever. Baka.
And then afterwards, what I love is that the whole performance, which is amazing, and it was great, and the fact that it's like, you actually are a man, you know, and then the way he just does that whole part of the performance is just amazing.
Yeah.
But I love that that afterwards Sukeroku was wanting so much to remember this moment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, even though Yakumo may have been like, no, let me change or something, because in a lot of ways you could say that Sukeroku's, you know, like jabs and things like that of, you know, fox face and whatnot, and laughing when he saw him in the makeup and everything.
Those hurt.
You know, he's kind of like, no, I don't want to be seen like this. Like, I don't know. No, insecurities. But then Sukeroku's like, no, like this. This is great.
Yeah. I love all the moments of Yakumo kind of realizing how much attention he's grabbing from the audience here.
Right.
Because he's
not used to it.
Well, because his performance is something that they're enraptured by. Mm-hmm. Now, this is to contrast with how he experiences things in Rakugo.
Yep.
What I think he's going to learn here is the kinetic energy surrounding this performance versus his Rakugo. Mm-hmm. And this will be where he actually discovers how to do his Rakugo.
Yep.
Like, he doesn't have to be boisterous and stupid like Sukeroku.
But if we contrast how his Rakugo was before this, with how his Rakugo is in present day, his Rakugo in present day is very animated. Very animated, right? Yes. And especially with like the kind of stuff that he's doing here, the only difference, I suppose, with this versus Rakugo is that in Rakugo he wouldn't actually be moving across the stage, right?
Yes.
But all the stuff of like posture, reclining, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
All that stuff can be a part of his performance.
It totally can. It's just something that's more subtle. It's something that's happening within the confines of basically the mat that you have for the little bit there. But there's little bits of movements. Like I loved I don't remember which was the one that did this. I think it was Sukeroku. But the whole thing of, I'm walking. So he kind of nudges his knees up and down and kind of adjusts and things like that. And it's like, that's clever because it's a little bit of sound that the microphone is going to pick up. But also it's something that the audience is going to see because his shoulders adjust. And it's like, we can just kind of suspend our disbelief and we can almost see him walking.
Yeah.
And little things like that are going to be really good. And so the idea of the audience following him with their eyes, that's just something that's special, makes him feel like he's an actually like good performer.
Yeah.
And of course he hasn't found his Rakugo yet, but this might be the catalyst for him finding it, is doing the double kind of performer thing of being a stage performer in theater and then Rakugo, and how those will...
Right, the idea that they don't necessarily have to be separate.
Yeah.
The physicality, he can still have the physicality of you know, maybe, well, with theater, but then also maybe what he wanted to do with being a geisha dancer.
Yes, thank you.
And that Rakugo might in fact be perfect for that.
Yep.
Because he doesn't need to use his legs.
Yes, like
exactly.
You stole it out from under me, but I'm so glad you brought that up. We were both thinking along the same lines there.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, this is in some ways a form of his dream coming to fruition. And it's really exciting.
Yep.
And then of course Matsuda, the theater manager, just being awesome. But then they hey, let's come and take your picture. And poor Yakumo's just like, no, I want to forget this. I want to. But just the pictures they end up getting, just are amazing.
Perfect.
And then they have one that looks practically like a poster image here. This one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one looks like
right. They're actually doing a bit of a pose.
They're doing a pose. Yeah. That one's fantastic. There was the whole bit also of the curtain opening, and they use that as a visual kind of
like transition
or what have you. And that was kind of nice. I can see what they mean by it, because there was also probably some points where they would go in and out of the stage or what have you.
Scene
changes and what have you. But in terms of a visual motif, the idea that he had been kind of in a moment of, maybe a little bit of shadow and, not letting himself
and now he's fully allowing himself to be unveiled, kind of.
Yeah. And so that's really cool. And also, I loved the voice acting in this whole performance, because they're absolutely hamming it up
to the umpteenth degree,
as you would in a theater performance, but even more so because we need a little bit of that to understand as people who aren't necessarily theater folk. What like we would need to notice that it would need to stand out enough so that we would notice it.
And also they mentioned that this is a not like a high society performance, right?
Yes, this
is very much an entertainment, like let the audience just have a romp and a good time, right? So playing everything up even more is probably really important, because if you tried to do some super subtle, poignant,
sophisticated
kind of a thing, you know, they might not really be into that.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the beginning also a little bit. So we have, you know, Yakumo practicing his Rakugo.
Oh my god.
And then Sukeroku comes back with 2 girls. And they are not, well, let's just say they are there via the means by which Sukeroku is kind of paying them, essentially. He promised he would pay them, basically. Because they were asking about their fee.
Oh.
You know.
Oh, gotcha.
So there's
how did I not realize that? I thought they were talking about like.
Yeah. Wait, see, what about our fee there?
Yeah. Okay.
So I think it's not just a thing of where we have this amazing bit of him kind of cock blocking Sukeroku here, like, it seems I'll need to make a sign, 500 yen a night, and then triple the rate. And he's like, we have a special deal or something, or. Yeah, what does he say here?
For one night
and
stay.
A special for women, triple the normal rate.
Yeah.
Sukeroku's just like, and they're just like, hey, what's the deal? And then he's, you know, sitting in the room, scowling at them. But he does say again, I don't get along with women like that, which is interesting. Which is interesting to bring up.
Yeah,
because he is spending a lot of time with a geisha, and even though it is not a paid service in any respect,
it started with a paid service.
But even though he wasn't the one that paid, the idea that he says he doesn't get along with women like that is a little bit of an interesting thing.
It's a great little contradiction right there.
Yeah, and then he's like, tightwad. He's like, what did you say? I didn't say anything. Nothing. The idea that Sukeroku also like is really frustrated here just because this is happening this way. But then I love how he says, you call it artistic reference, but going on like this will kill you.
Yeah.
It's really sad how many times the show will be like, Sukeroku, you keep doing this, it'll kill you. And we're just like, oh! But then in this specific context, this guy here getting blue-balled is the joke of him holding literally his crotch, just being like, I was so ready.
Yep.
It's funny.
And the idea that he has explained it to Yakumo as no, I need this as artistic research. I need to see what's out there in order it'll improve my Rakugo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it is. That is exactly the reason why you're doing this.
Yeah.
But then we had a little bit of a comparison moment here.
Yeah.
Something where
we saw some real jealousy set in from both sides.
Yeah.
Of him being like, oh yeah, that Miyokichi girl, like, introduce me,
Well, before that, he says, are you jealous because I get more girls than you? I said, or are you a quality over quantity kind of person? Basically saying like, oh, right, because my girls are trashy. So, but your one girl, oh, she's so amazing, huh? Now, obviously, this is all playful jabs, but it can get... It can escalate from here if it's not, dealt with over a period of time.
Well, and what was the thing that Sukeroku said specifically with regards to...
Like, I want a taste of that.
Yeah, give me a taste of that sometime. Yeah. So that could definitely be a thing that reaches a point of true conflict later on. But then there's also the idea of the comparison of the different Rakugo styles.
Yeah.
And being jealous of Sukeroku getting so much success with his Rakugo, even though he's not practicing and things like that. And then, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And he chastises his female impression here, his woman, saying she's not beautiful, she's not
Yeah, there isn't this air of her being refined or anything like that.
Yeah. And then he laments basically how unfair it is that things are going this way.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like that Sukeroku says this though. You know, if you need to lose it, you can take it out on me.
And he's like, after all, you pay the bills, so.
Well, yeah, it is kind of a manipulation thing of say, hey, see, like I can provide value back to you, not in the way you are necessarily wanting it from me, but I mean, yeah. So instead of doing that, he just starts chucking the charcoal things at you with chopsticks. Like that is some skill.
Well, I think that's how they would put the charcoal into the thing. So that's how they would handle the charcoal bits, you know.
Well, right, but it wouldn't start out as charcoal. It would start out as wood. You know?
Well, sure. But, you know, for whatever they need to do with it.
I didn't say they need to use chopsticks, you know. You just put it in before it gets burned.
Well, okay, but for stoking the flames or whatever, you know, stuff like that.
I just love the playfulness of it.
Oh, yeah.
Just like,
and just all of a sudden, just
screw you then.
Yeah, oh, yeah. It made me think of, like Kung Fu Panda with, like, the dumpling, you know, thing where, like, even though, granted, it's coals and dumplings and stuff, but just the idea of certain things being tossed around that have an immense amount of value, shall we say, either in the positive or the negative.
Right. Miyokichi likes Yakumo.
Mm-hmm. And the way she was like,
does.
You can't get out of this one.
Yeah, that felt a little bit controlling, but it also had this air of like, hey, I mean, someone's got to take charge a little bit in this relationship.
Like, I feel like it was one of those things where it's like, I know how you work, you know, that you're always very serious and that you'll always come up with excuses. Just come on, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the episode. We've got a very, very wholesome experience here. There's a couple things going on in the background with Miyokichi, but then we also have this underlying slow foundation being built of something that might separate Sukeroku and Yakumo.
And yet they're still tight. That's one of the things that I love about this, because it's not just something where it's like, oh, they're just getting on each other's nerves and then it's like they're not friends anymore, and maybe that time will come, right?
Yeah.
But the idea that they still have the moments of getting even closer as, you know, as essentially brothers, you know.
Also, just to pull things back into context a little bit, I'm pretty sure now just we're in the real story now. Because remember, this is all a flashback from the present day. So I'm essentially like just almost certain that this is just going to be the whole story.
Well,
like,
or at least the whole first season.
A huge chunk of the first season or the story as a whole. So awesome.
It'll be interesting once we get back to like main modern time. We'll have to, like, we'll be behind on
adjust.
We'll have to adjust because we'll be behind on all this characterization for Yotaro and for Konatsu.
I mean,
you know, like
time could have just stopped. You know. It's
sure, no, definitely. But as far as I'm talking about time into the show, whereas like for Yakumo, and then
we'll be way far ahead.
Right, we'll be way farther ahead, and for Sukeroku and the memory of Sukeroku, you know, we'll be there. So even with Konatsu, we'll have a strong like anchor for her. But then for our actual
he might not be. That's the thing.
Main character.
He's just the first character we saw. It doesn't mean he's the main character.
Which is a crazy thing to think about.
If anything, Yakumo feels more and more like the main character because he's the one that ties into both timelines, and he's also the one getting the most kind of focus in this flashback here.
Right.
Because, of course, it's his perspective. He's the one telling the story.
Yeah.
So, it's Rakugo within Rakugo, and... little do we know that like he's been doing like Sukeroku voices and everything and stuff when he's telling the story.
Oh my god,
that would be hilarious. But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the book he wrote.
Yes, that's right. I wrote a sci-fi novel. It's called Battle Lines. It's available on Amazon. Links in the description in both hardback and ebook if you prefer ebook. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.